Right now at 5, Anderson police released details of an alleged accidental discharge of a gun that killed a 28-year-old woman Saturday night.
It's going to be a beautiful day today, but I'm tracking storm chances for tonight into tomorrow. Those details coming up.
Plus, the trial of an Independence, Missouri man charged in a double homicide begins in Cherokee County.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Donald O'Keefe. Good morning.
Good morning and happy Wednesday, January 7th now. We are officially a full week into the new year.
Wow, I can't believe it. You know, the time seems to be going by so quick. And like I said, the weather has been kind of up and down, so it hasn't really felt like January yet.
Not yet, but you know, like they always say in the 4 states, is like we can have all of the seasons within a week. And I feel like this is definitely an example of this coming up.
Oh yeah, I mean, basically we're going to have pretty much all aspects of weather over the next few days, especially today with it being nice. And then we could see possibly storms tonight into tomorrow morning.
Definitely something to watch.
Yeah, so actually let's take a look at downtown Pittsburgh right now. You can see nice clear skies. We're definitely on the bit of a cooler side, but you know, it's going to be an overall nice day today before those storms really start to push in later tonight and tomorrow. But I'll get to that in a minute. Let's take a look at 7th and Range Line. Not too bad. You know, like I said, it's still early in the morning. People are still getting up, getting their morning routines going. Out there, it's US 69 to Baxter Springs. A little bit hazy on the camera. I think that's just the camera right now. So, like I said, not too bad for driving though, right? If compared to yesterday, we had a lot of fog out there, but pretty decent driving conditions this morning. And like I said, a bit on the cooler side. 32nd Range Line, and there's somebody getting out there doing some things. You know, probably getting their morning coffee. You could probably get an iced coffee today because it's going to be definitely warmer than it has been over the last couple of days. So 20th and Range Line, not too bad. A bit hazy out there, but take a look at our fog tracker. Like I said, it's pretty good driving conditions. If you are in Miami, you do have about 7 miles of visibility, so there is a bit of fog if you're driving along that I-44 corridor through Miami, but still, most of the area looks pretty good. Taking a look outside, 42 degrees in Joplin, 48 there in Pittsburgh. Bit of a cool evening, or excuse me, not evening, morning. I usually work evening. So we'll take a look at our current temperatures across the board. We have a pretty wide range. We have 34 there in Iola, 42 in Joplin, so about a 10-degree difference across most of the area right now. But if you're planning your day, we're going to get up to 68 degrees by this afternoon, partly cloudy skies. Winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles an hour, could gust up to 20, so a pretty nice day. But we are tracking some storms for later tonight, very late tonight. But then the main storms should be pushing through tomorrow morning through the afternoon. But I'll have more details about those storms coming up.
Donald, thanks. Anderson police released details of an alleged accidental discharge of a gun that killed a 28-year-old woman Saturday night. Officers responded to 305 West Main Street and found Annie Strickland Gaines unconscious with a gunshot wound. Paramedics rushed her to Freeman West Hospital where she died. Police also found a man at the home identified as Gavin Crawford. The investigation continues. Strickland Gaines was a Joplin High School and Missouri Southern graduate. She was an elementary teacher for the Neosho School District. Webb City police officers were preparing to transport an arrestee yesterday when they found her unresponsive in her cell. Officers immediately initiated CPR and requested medical assistance. Despite life-saving efforts, the 41-year-old Joplin woman was pronounced deceased. The Jasper County Coroner's Office and investigators have been contacted to conduct a thorough investigation into the cause of death. No names have been released, and the autopsy is scheduled for today. The trial of an Independence, Missouri man charged in a double homicide begins in Cherokee County. The trial of Kyle Butts began this week. Butts was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder in connection with an incident from November of 2022. He's being held at the Cherokee County Jail. The incident took place November of 2022. Baxter Springs police officers responded to reported gunshots at a home on 2400 Lincoln. On scene, officers tried to save the lives of 3 people who had been shot inside the house. Additional officers discovered Butts walking in the area. He was taken into custody after a brief struggle. 2 of the victims, Jeremy Murphy of Anderson and Craig Gwynn of Pineville, died at the scene. The 3rd victim, Seth Gwynn, also of Pineville, was taken to a area hospital in critical condition. You can read the entire history of this case on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, Oklahoma, already known for its place in Tornado Alley, now has a new weather distinction. It is now the state with the highest concentration of lightning in the country. The new ranking bumps Florida off the top spot in lightning strike density. A group that monitors lightning strikes, Advanced Environmental Monitoring, is out with its 2025 lightning report. Weather monitors found Oklahoma had 73 cloud-to-ground lightning strikes per square mile last year. A lightning scientist with the group says the Great Plains region of the U.S. is becoming more of an active area for intense storms. The states behind Oklahoma in lightning density are Florida, Louisiana, and Kansas. Well, the Miami, Oklahoma Police Department is moving forward with plans to install 10 license plate reader cameras at certain intersections. KOAM's Kenny Foreman spoke with the chief of police to learn more about what citizens should expect.
When Steven Sigmund took over as chief in May of 2024, he envisioned flock cameras increasing efficiency within the department and the city.
It's a lot cheaper to put technology in place than it is to try and hire a law enforcement officer. So we are just trying to use it as a force multiplier to reduce the crime rate here in the city of Miami, improve the quality of living here in the city of Miami, which will then encourage businesses and things like that to come here to support the city.
Unlike a typical red light camera, the flock cameras may only be accessed by the police if they receive specific information related to a vehicle that could help them investigate a potential crime.
These are not speed enforcement cameras. There's no citations associated with these, which was a big misconception that we had going on. They don't track you going to your house, which was another misconception. It simply snaps a picture of who goes through an intersection.
Sigmund says it's a tool designed to help the police, not for anybody to use it to spy on one another.
Anybody that logs into it and conducts a search, they have to articulate why they're conducting the search, be specific about what they're searching for, and then if there's any misuse, we can address that through the audit system and through our policies. And I can assure the citizens here in Miami that if there is any misuse, it will be addressed quickly.
He maintains that the cameras do not capture the car's riders, and the information does not remain permanent.
I understand that there's concern about the retention of the data and all of that. I want it very clear that we can only search the database if we have a legitimate criminal justice reason. And the data is only stored for 30 days and then it is expunged from the system. So it's not an ongoing forever database. It's only for 30 days and then it is removed from the system.
In Miami, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
The department hopes to have the cameras installed by late spring or early summer. Flock cameras are currently used in more than 6,000 communities nationwide. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the Trump administration is escalating its war of words over Greenland. And we're tracking storm chances. Donald will have a look at your Wednesday forecast coming up. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch, bond has been set for the suspect accused of vandalizing J.D. Vance's house and vehicle in Cincinnati. 26-year-old William DeFore appeared before a judge yesterday on 4 non-federal charges, which include obstructing official business, criminal damaging or endangering criminal trespass, and vandalism. Bond for those charges was set at $11,000. According to an arrest report, DeFore is accused of using a hammer to break 4 windows of Vance's home and also causing damage to the vice president's vehicle. Officials say a U.S. Secret Service agent witnessed the attack, but says DeFore took off running when approached and refused law enforcement commands to stop. President Donald Trump announces a deal for the U.S. to purchase oil from Venezuela following the capture of the country's President Nicolas Maduro. Trump says Venezuela agreed to sell 30 to 50 million gallons of oil at market price, with the proceeds from the sale expected to help both countries. The announcement follows pressure from the U.S. on Venezuela's interim president, Delcy Rodriguez, to allow full oil access to American companies or face consequences. Venezuela has kept millions of gallons of oil in storage tanks as it has faced a blockade by the U.S. since mid-December. The deal is expected to be worth more than $2 billion. The Trump administration is escalating its war of words over Greenland, with a senior policy advisor saying the U.S. will eventually take over the territory. Senior Foreign Affairs correspondent Greg Palcott has more from London.
We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security.
President Trump is intensifying his push for the U.S. to acquire Greenland one way or another. After the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, Trump once again floated the idea of taking over the Danish territory. And after he refused to rule out military force, Denmark's prime minister claimed any strike on Greenland would mean the end of the NATO alliance.
If the United States chooses to attack another NATO country militarily, then everything stops, including NATO.
But the tough talk continued. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller hinted the U.S. will move to take over the territory sooner rather than later, claiming it's part of a long-term strategy to help NATO allies.
To protect and defend NATO and NATO interests, obviously Greenland should be part of the United States.
Democrats on Capitol Hill pushed back on those comments and vowed to stop funding any military operation aimed at acquiring Greenland.
What kind of adventurism is this? The language Miller used comes right out of the 1930s.
I think that would contribute to regional instability.
And America's NATO allies are standing behind Denmark, saying the U.S. has no right to invade Danish territory, while also acknowledging America's role in European security.
We must do everything we can to maintain European-American ties. This difficult task will require goodwill on all sides.
Well, still to come, the red carpets are being rolled out as the award season continues. The red carpets are being rolled out as award season continues. Actors are weighing in on the star-studded week. Gwen Baumgarten has your Eye on Entertainment report.
Award season is in full swing as this marks one of the busiest weeks in entertainment. On Sunday, one battle after another, and Sinners stole the stage at the Critics' Choice Awards.
The women in my family see things.
Jessie Buckley stars in Hamnet. Despite her win for Best Actress, she said this when asked if she paid attention to awards buzz.
We're just doing what we're doing. It's been so nice to talk about it and share. It's been so nice to share the film, you know. You make these things for audiences.
Today, SAG Award nominations go out, also recognizing excellence in film and television. Last year, Shogun went away with 4 wins. And tomorrow night, Helen Mirren will be recognized with the Cecil B. DeMille Award and Sarah Jessica Parker with the Carol Burnett Award at a pre-Golden Globe special titled Golden Eve. Appearances by acting legends Harrison Ford, Viola Davis, and Carol Burnett were just announced. Golden Eve airs Thursday, while the Golden Globes air this Sunday and will be hosted by comedian Nikki Glazer. Both are available to watch on CBS and Paramount+. This series might be over, but Stranger Things is headed for mailboxes around the world. These are some of the newly released stamps available through Royal Mail, the British Postal Service. In total, 14 themed stamps are being added to circulation. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
It looks like this year's award season will be as competitive as ever. Well, now here's Donald with a quick look at your forecast.
It's going to be a beautiful day out there. We're going to see mostly sunny skies getting up to a high of about 67, 68 degrees through the day. We're going to see, like I said, very nice conditions. But as we get into the overnight, we could possibly see some storms start to arrive late tonight into Thursday morning. Well, let's enjoy this nice day while it's here before those storms arrive tomorrow morning. More details after the break. Well, good morning, everybody. Taking a look at downtown Pittsburgh. Things are feeling pretty good right now. We're a bit on the cool side this morning, but things are going to start warming up. The sun is going to start peeking its head out in a little bit, and we're going to see pretty nice conditions for today. 7th and Range line, not too bad as well. People are starting to get out, get their morning routines going to get their morning coffee. They're probably going to get an iced coffee because today's going to be above average for our temperatures, and something too hot maybe be like, well, it's a little bit too hot, so I'm already hot as it is. So you can start off the day with a coat on, but then you'll probably be taking it off by the afternoon because of how nice it's going to be today. US 69 at US 400. You can see a truck going by right there. That is a purple shade. That's actually just from that that intersection, it actually has a purple shade there, so that's not just the camera, that's actually a light at that intersection. Taking a look at US 69 in Baxter Springs, a little bit blurry out there, but there's really no fog out there compared to how it was yesterday. 20th range line as well. Like I said, people were starting to get out, do their morning routines. Driving conditions look pretty good at this moment. Like I said, really no fog out there compared to yesterday. We're going to take a look at that in a minute. Here's our fog tracker. So everywhere looks pretty good. There is a bit of fog there in Miami, about 8 miles of visibility. So if you're driving from Joplin to Miami along I-44. Just be careful. There is a bit of fog, but everywhere else looks pretty good for driving conditions. So I was talking about that we're tracking some storm chances for later tonight into tomorrow. So this is what we're seeing. So today we can see, like I said, a bit of storms very, very late tonight. Very, very small chance for storms tonight, but the main threat will be for tomorrow morning. We can see some strong storms for our area, but then by Friday that starts to push off. But let's take a closer look. Right now for our area, we have a marginal risk, which is a 1 out of 5 chance for severe storms. The main threat for what we're going to see is wind and hail between the hours of 4 a.m. and noon tomorrow. The tornado threat is very, very low. This large hail is very low as well, but we're going to mainly see mostly stronger winds and heavy rain and maybe small hail, maybe nickel-sized hail. So why are we going to get these storms? Well, it's because it's been so warm over the last couple of days, so nice influx of moisture from the Gulf, and those warmer temperatures have acted like fuel for what we can see those storms tapping into later tonight into tomorrow morning. So that's basically why we're going to have storms in January. We're not going to have any snow. So let's track those storms right now. Let's time those out. So this is Wednesday afternoon. We're going to see mostly sunny skies as we get through the day. Nice, warm, sunny skies. Then clouds start to build in through Wednesday night, and Thursday morning, this is about 4 a.m., there's when those showers start to push into our area. So as you're waking up and starting to get out the door, things are going to start to get pretty wet out there. By about 8 a.m., you can see out to the west, those are the stronger storms that are going to start pushing in. And again, I want to remind you that these storms are probably just going to be heavy rain, some stronger winds, and also very small hail. There is a chance that they could go low-grade severe, but it's most likely just going to be very loud and thunder and everything. So but it's still going to be right during that peak time for commuting through the day, and as we go through the morning, those showers and storms will continue. By about noon, another line of storms will start to make its way through, and it'll also be a bit windy out there. But by Thursday afternoon, we're going to see those storms start to push out, and then into Friday. Now we're going to see colder air behind it, but it's still going to be pretty decent behind those storms. All right. For this morning, 39 degrees at 8 a.m. Partly cloudy skies getting up to 59 degrees by 11. For today, high of 68 degrees. Like I said, a bit breezy. And for tonight, dropping down to 52 degrees before those storms arrive to our area. And we're going to see those storms basically through tonight into tomorrow morning, then colder temperatures behind it. But just be prepared for some stronger storms for tomorrow morning. That's a look at your full forecast. Here's Sam with Health Watch.
Thanks, Donald. When stopped by police, the encounter can be nerve-wracking, but in many cases, it's just a normal stop. However, for someone with autism or mental illness, that normal stop can turn sideways quickly. Now, as Alejandra Hernandez reports, there's a new program just launched in Arkansas that aims to reduce those incidents.
I just think the more education everybody involved has, the better off it'll be. But I think it's just a safety issue for all parties involved.
Danny Graham has a son with autism, and he hopes the newest program from the state of Arkansas keeps his son safe during a traffic stop. At the beginning of the year, the Blue and Green Envelope program went into effect in Arkansas, hoping to make traffic stops safer for people with autism and mental illness. Graham said a traffic stop can be anything but normal for someone who experiences autism.
There's been autistic people tased because they're acting quirky, and no fault of the policeman thinking that, hey, this person may be on drugs or whatever. He's not complying. He's acting irrational.
The blue envelope is designed for people with autism, and the green one is designed for people with mental illness, serving as a visual sign to an officer that the driver may have communication challenges. Representative Aaron Pilkington sponsored the blue envelope bill.
Right, we had individuals from all across the state kind of come and testify and talk about some of the experiences they had and how they thought this simple change would help them with their traffic stops with law enforcement.
And the envelopes themselves are easily accessible. Anybody can come to the state revenue office and pick up either a green envelope or a blue envelope.
When they hand the envelope to the officer, they go, okay, I'm dealing with someone who has autism. I need to be aware that I'm dealing with someone who may have some issues that is not like a typical traffic stop. Because you have to think about too, for police officers, these are high stressful situations for them as well.
The envelope provides documentation to law enforcement and guidance to officers on how to interact with the person. Graham said the initiative is something he likes and hopes his son is able to use it when he starts driving.
I want him to be able to do it safely and just let him know what his responsibilities are.
Pilkington said there is no registry with the envelopes and no document is required to get an envelope. Another child flu death has been reported in Massachusetts as cases of the virus surge. A Monday public health report announced 3 statewide pediatric flu deaths, but that number has since increased to 4. Flu cases are rising quickly around the United States, with many states reporting increasing numbers of infections and deaths, including children. Doctors say the flu vaccine may not completely prevent the flu, but can reduce symptoms and keep patients out of the hospital. Health experts encourage everyone to get vaccinated now, as the flu season often lasts into the spring. Health experts are looking into ways to encourage people to get their annual flu shot. A study published in JAMA found that doctors sending patients reminding texts before a visit led to more people getting their flu vaccine. The CDC says even during an average flu season, the virus can cause hundreds of thousands of hospitalizations and tens of thousands of deaths, and flu vaccines can help reduce the severity of the illness. Scientists are learning more about how pandemics spread. Researchers at the Columbia University Mailman School of Public Health looked at the 2009 H1N1 flu pandemic and the COVID-19 pandemic. They found air travel was a major driver of the spread of disease, especially originating from major hubs like New York and Atlanta. They also found wastewater testing could identify pandemics before they rage out of control. New changes to childhood vaccine recommendations are here, with Trump administration health officials announcing updates they say will put the U.S. more in line with other nations around the world. But some critics are warning this overhaul could have negative impacts.
The Department of Health and Human Services revealing immediate updates to the nation's childhood vaccine schedule on Monday. The CDC now recommends every child get vaccinated against 11 diseases, including chickenpox, measles, polio, tetanus, and whooping cough. The HPV vaccine is also recommended, but suggested doses have been lowered to just 1 shot.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Ow, ow, ow.
What's now different is that certain shots will face more restrictions, with vaccines against the flu, hepatitis A and B, meningitis, and more, only recommended for kids considered high risk or after having a consultation with a doctor.
What that means is that we will no longer have routine recommendation for all of the things that we were recommending our children be vaccinated against.
HHS officials say President Trump had tasked the agency to review the vaccine recommendations of other nations.
They were going to adopt a immunization schedule similar to that's used by Denmark for childhood immunization in the United States.
In a post to Truth Social, President Trump wrote in part, quote, "Parents can still choose to give their children all of the vaccinations if they wish, and they will still be covered by insurance." The president adding, quote, "This schedule is rooted in the gold standard of science." Organizations like the American Medical Association and the American Academy of Pediatrics say there's no new evidence to justify the changes.
We are now seeing a divergence between what the CDC is recommending and what's being recommended by these healthcare organizations.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, dozens of Pittsburgh residents gathered to protest the Trump administration.
It's going to be a very beautiful day, but we are tracking storm chances for later tonight into tomorrow. I'll have those details coming up.
Plus, the Carthage Cross Lines Ministries is starting the renovations on their new building.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:33. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Donald O'Keefe. Good morning.
Good morning and happy Wednesday, January the 7th. Like we were saying earlier, we are officially a week into the new year now since it's the 7th. Did you make any resolutions and are you still sticking to them one weekend?
Yeah, I told myself that I actually wanted to read more, and actually since I'm in graduate school, I'll be making up for that because I will be reading quite a bit.
Yeah,
so.
Just maybe not the things you would choose to read on a day-to-day.
Sometimes, it depends.
Yeah. Well, as long as we kind of try to stick to it. Hopefully you've not given up a weekend. So.
No. Of course not.
But, now is a good time to kind of maybe enjoy some of those resolutions because we actually have pretty warm temperatures, especially for January.
Yeah, it does not feel like January right now. We're having very abnormal temperatures. We had abnormal temperatures in December as well, so why not continue into January? So let's take a look at downtown Pittsburgh right now. We're on the cooler side. Temperatures are about the low to mid 40s for our area. Clear skies is going to be that's going to set up a very beautiful day for today. Like I said, if you want to go out and maybe you said, I want to get out and maybe run more, today is probably the perfect day to get outside and enjoy nature before we see some storms start to roll in later tonight into tomorrow. 7th and range line, like I said, looking pretty good out there. People getting out, getting their morning routines going, getting their morning coffee. I always like to say that because if you get a warm coffee during when it's cold, it'll feel good, but you might actually want an iced coffee today because of how nice it's going to be. US 69 at Baxter Springs, people like I said, not too busy. It's a bit hazy out there, but there's luckily not a lot of fog. US 69 at US 400, like I said, not too bad for driving conditions. 32nd range line looking pretty good out there. Driving conditions are looking excellent compared to yesterday. Our fog tracker, we really don't have much fog out there at all. There is a bit of fog in Miami, about 8 miles of visibility, but compared to yesterday, excellent driving conditions. Taking a look outside, 42 degrees in Joplin, 51 degrees in Pittsburgh. That's a 10-degree difference, just about 10 to 15 miles spread out from each other. Take a look at the regional temperatures though. We have a pretty wide range. Neota show you guys are at 28 degrees. Like I said, 51 in Pittsburgh. That's a pretty big difference. I wonder if there's like a miscalculation out there with some of those temperatures, but definitely feeling pretty on the cool side. For today, we're going to get up to 68 degrees, partly cloudy skies. We could see still some gusty winds out of the south, 20 miles an hour. But like I said, we are tracking some storms for later tonight into tomorrow morning. So that's what I was saying. We got to watch out for some thunder and lightning, but I'll have some details about those storms coming up.
Donald, thanks. Dozens of Pittsburgh residents gathered yesterday to protest the Trump administration. Demonstrators gathered at 4th Street and Broadway to demand unredacted Epstein documents and accountability for powerful people. Protesters also stated their opposition to the military intervention in Venezuela, stating the military action won't help families struggling with basic needs. Many residents shared their views on the Trump administration's handling of the removal of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro.
Obviously, most of us are, not at all pro-Maduro and agree with him, no longer being in power. We also don't think that it's America's place to be doing that.
This is not what you do. And to me, it's fascism. This is not what America does. This is what Russia does.
Organizers say the protest was nonpartisan and focused on truth, fairness, and justice over politics. Leaders in Joplin extend an invitation to the community to join them for their first ever State of the Community event. The event plans to bring together leaders and partners from local government, business, education, and nonprofits, as well as Joplin residents to reflect, connect, and look at the future of the city. The event will run from 8 a.m. to 10:30 at the Cornell Complex next Wednesday, January 14th. A limited number of tickets are still available for $25 per person until 8 a.m. Tuesday, January 13th. For more information, including a link for purchasing tickets, can be found on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, Sparklight donates $5,000 to the Children's Haven in Joplin. Children's Haven serves as a safe space where young people up to the age of 17 can stay the night whenever there is a crisis at home. The grant will go to fund meals and snacks for the children staying there.
The support will go for crisis care for kids to be able to stay the night and for us to be able to meet their immediate needs when they're here. And that may be meals. We provide a lot of meals and snacks. We also transport our kids to their home schools, which may be all over the area.
Sparklight offered grants to 24 states and gave out more than $100,000 in grants. The Carthage Crosslines Ministries is starting the renovations on their new building. They're moving the old Fastenal building to Carthage, Missouri, that is located right by Race Brothers. Crosslines has served the community for more than 40 years and needs more room to expand its services.
Ran out of space in our other building. As we've raised awareness, we've been here 41 years, and oddly enough, our awareness was very low. And as we've raised awareness, people have really poured into us on donations of items, clothing and stuff.
They need volunteers to help with repairs, painting, and cleaning. Their goal is to have the grand opening in July. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Management experts say a little humor can go a long way in helping to build teamwork and success while on the clock. In Consumer Watch, one rideshare company reveals its newest robo-taxi design at this year's Consumer Electronics Show. Uber has officially unveiled the design for its robo-taxis as it attempts to keep up with its competitor Waymo. The new robo-taxi is set to launch in San Francisco this year. The latest addition to the Uber fleet is a result of the company's partnership with Lucid and Nuro, and with plans to deploy at least 20,000 Lucid electric vehicles using Nuro drivers' autonomous tech. The new robo-taxi will include a multi-pronged sensor system, high-res cameras, and radar. On the inside, the robo-taxi can hold up to 6 passengers with some luggage space and a display to control music, temperature, activate heated seats, or contact support for emergencies. Uber says the robo-taxi will launch in late 2026 and could have some modifications once it hits the road. McDonald's popular McRib could be heading to court. A lawsuit filed by 4 plaintiffs claims the fast food chain's McRib does not actually contain pork rib meat. The lawsuit claims McDonald's uses lower grade pork meat and reasonable consumers are tricked into buying the meal based on the name. The McRib debuted on McDonald's menus in 1981 and has been a recurring limited time item since the early 2000s. McDonald's says the lawsuit is, quote, meritless and distorts facts. While work isn't always fun and games, management experts say a little humor can go a long way in helping to build teamwork and success while on the clock.
With folks returning to the office after the holiday season, many teams are focusing on getting back into gear and making the new year successful. And according to research from Dr. Sharon Sheridan, assistant professor of management at Clemson University, humor can be a great tool to help boost unity when it's used correctly.
Focus on tone over type or content of the joke. You want to make sure that people perceive your intention for telling the joke in a positive way, to relieve stress, to build connection, to just appear lighthearted.
Besides fostering trust, Dr. Sheridan says leaders can use humor to create a positive workplace culture.
I actually think it's less about trying to adopt humor as a formal practice and more about creating an environment where people feel it's safe to kind of be themselves, be a little lighthearted, maybe joke around a little bit. And I think humor sort of naturally emerges when there's that level of safety and comfort. Get to know your employees. Build relationships, and then don't take yourself so seriously. And I think those are the important things to focus on.
But humor can also be very risky.
You know, you may be sort of crossing some boundary, your timing might have been bad, or you hadn't really read the room.
And when the jokes don't land,
it can signal that you not only lack the confidence, but also perhaps the judgment or competence that you need.
That's it for Consumer Watch, and now here's Donald with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, it's going to be a very beautiful day. We're going to start off temperatures rising into the lower 60s by noon today. We can see a high of 68 degrees by this afternoon with mostly sunny to partly sunny or partly cloudy conditions today. Increasing clouds this evening into the overnight, and then we're watching some storm chances later tonight into Thursday morning. So let's enjoy those nice conditions while they are here. More details after the break.
A new report does not have good news when it comes to food insecurity in the U.S. An update in today's AgDay Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's AgDay Minute. USDA says food insecurity in the country reached more than 13% in 2024. That marks a 10-year high. Now, in a new report, the agency says more than 18% of households with children were found to be food insecure in 2024, and 6 states are above the national average. Now, they're Arkansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Oklahoma, and Texas. The annual survey has now been canceled by the Trump administration. Tyson Foods has agreed to a payout to settle a proposed class action lawsuit. This one was brought by grocers and other businesses accusing the company and other meat packers of conspiring to inflate U.S. beef prices by restricting supply. The proposed settlement totals $82.5 million. The Tyson deal, if approved, would represent the second settlement after JBS USA agreed to pay $52.5 million. Now, JBS USA denied any wrongdoing in agreeing to that deal. And a new global food chain is looking to take America by storm. Mishue Ice Cream and Tea launched its first American location in Los Angeles just before Christmas and added 2 more stores in New York City just a few days later. It already has more than 47,000 locations around the world, which is more than McDonald's and Starbucks. Mishue items are all priced under $5. It started in China first as a shaved ice stall. For more news, watch AgDay weekdays on the station or get updates over at agweb.com.
Now let's take it over to Donald with a quick look at your forecast.
It's going to be a pretty beautiful day out there today. We're going to see nice conditions. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 60s, even pushing 70. Take a look at downtown Pittsburgh right now. Not too bad. Clear conditions. We are starting off on the cooler side, but I guarantee you temperatures are going to start warming up as they go through the morning. 7th range line looking pretty good. People are starting to get out, do their morning routines, get their morning coffees going. You might want iced coffee today because it's actually going to be on the warmer side, like I was saying, so that hot coffee might be too hot for you. You'll probably start off the day in a jacket and take it off by the noon hour. US 69 at US 400, not too bad. So like I said, driving conditions are looking pretty good right now compared to how they were yesterday morning. We're going to see fog. We're not really going to see much fog at all today. So 20th range line, like I said, looking pretty good out there for driving conditions. 32nd range line looking good as well. Pretty clear at this moment. Excuse me. Take a look at our fog right now. Like I said, driving conditions are looking really good across the area. Everywhere has very, very good visibility. So that's a good start to our day as you're driving out. But we will see a chance for some storms. I want to talk about that right now. So for tonight, we could see PM storms. Now this is very, very late tonight into Thursday morning. The chance for those stronger storms won't be until Thursday morning between the hours of about 4 a.m. to noon. So Thursday is when we're going to see the chance for some strong storms. But then as we get into Friday, those storms are going to start pushing out and then we'll start drying out, but we'll be on the colder side by Friday. So let's take a closer look. So right now our area for tomorrow morning, we are in a marginal risk, which is a 1 out of 5 chance for severe weather. And the main threat for these storms is going to be wind and hail. Like I said, the timing is going to be about 4 a.m. to noon for tomorrow. The tornado threat, as you can see, is very low. Even for large hail, it's slight. The main threat is going to be wind and hail, like I said, and probably some heavier rain associated with some of these storms that will be pushing through. Now, why have we been so warm and why are we going to see storm chances in the first week of January? Well, right now we have a nice influx of warm air from the south, and that's bringing in moisture from the Gulf that's going to act as fuel for these storms to fire up later tonight into tomorrow. So that's what I'm saying. We're above average for temperatures, and we're seeing possibly our first, maybe even our first severe storm of the season for tomorrow morning. So let's track these storms right now. Let's time these out. So this is today. At noon, we're going to see nice, mostly sunny skies by the afternoon. Like I said, warming up into the upper 60s, possibly hitting 70 as well. As we get into Wednesday night, Thursday morning, those increasing clouds, that moisture is into our area. Now by 4 a.m. is when we can possibly see those rain showers start to push in. Then the stronger storms start to push in about 8 a.m. So this is prime time when everybody is getting out the door and driving into work. So it's going to be very wet and very loud with some of that thunder and lightning out there. So those stronger storms will start to push in about about 8 a.m. They'll continue through 10 a.m. as well. And then by about noon hour, another line of storms could also push through as well. And as we get into Thursday afternoon, we're going to see temperatures not too bad, but things are going to start pushing out by Thursday afternoon and then drying out by Friday. But then as we get into Friday, temperatures are going to then start to drop. But looking at today, not too bad. Partly cloudy skies through the morning, getting up to almost 60 degrees by 11 a.m. So like I said, it's going to be nice, but fuel for those storms tomorrow. 68 degrees for a high, winds out of the south gusting up to 20 miles an hour. For tonight, not too bad. 52 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, but it's also going to be a bit breezy as well with up to about 25 miles an hour for your wind gusts. So basically today is going to be nice PM thunderstorms. Tomorrow is when we're going to see mainly those thunderstorms in the morning, and then cooling down as we get into the weekend. Friday, we might even see a wintry mix, but we're going to keep an eye on that behind that storm system. That's a look at your full forecast. More news and weather coming up after the break.
A historic Pittsburgh school that sat empty for nearly 3 decades is open with new life and now giving tours for childcare. The Washington School now houses Grow at Eden's. It has 3 classrooms and a sensory room serving toddlers, preschoolers, and infants. During the day, they help teach kids through interactive courses, workshops, and community engagement for educators. The goal is to provide an educational and nurturing experience.
And it's going to be a wonderful day today. As you can see on our 10-day here, we're going to get up to a high of 68 degrees. We're going to see mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies today. But as we get into Wednesday, into this evening, into the overnight, increasing clouds, increasing moisture, and that's going to act as fuel for those possible stronger storms later tonight into Thursday morning. Those showers and those storms will continue through tomorrow morning and then dissipating by Thursday afternoon. But then behind that, we could see some colder temperatures and even a possibility for a wintry mix late Friday night into Saturday morning. And as you can see, the weekend, we're going to drop back down to the mid to upper 40s, right around average, and then possibly warming back up again by Monday. But let's enjoy this nice, beautiful day for our Wednesday before those storms start to arrive later tonight into tomorrow morning, and then those cooler temperatures return by later next week.